in today's world, with the younger generations, the millennials and the generations behind them, who literally are looking at work and performance differently, it's like, what's in it for me? That has never been more prevalent. So this idea of helping people perform individually at their best level, I think has to be built into your employee experience model. Because if you can help them be the best they can be, they will give you the best work they can be. And they're demanding that. Again, they're continual learners, they want to grow, they want to move upward. I mean, these are things that are very, very important. And when they get into cultures that stagnate their growth or that they're not connecting with, we know they start shopping somewhere else. They leave quicker than the generations before them. So,
and that connection and success that an organization can have with its employees, that ultimately drives the business performance they're trying to achieve.
Yes.
And one of our participants had made a connection around the shareholders and how that needs to be an element that's considered. And I think what you illustrated there, Kevin, was exactly right, that we may need to act differently as organizations in order to engage our employees in a new way, but we're doing that for the right reasons, because that's driving the business performance and keeps our shareholders happy with business performance. And I think as you talked about what that employee needs to be and kind of telling that story, it definitely made me think about NCR in the story there, that I think the audience would be interested if you wanted to tell that story around their values as an organization and how that ties with their business performance and where that's led from an individual employee perspective.
This is probably some of the most exciting work we're doing, and I could talk about it forever, so I'll try to be quick and brief. One of the things that kind of was born out of our work was, who is this worker that we want to be at NCR? Like, who is this ideal worker? And working very closely with their Talent Innovation Center of Excellence, and actually calling out to what they call their ambassador network, the people that are really living that story and that shared story, and loving and are very engaged with their job.
That story started as a customer story.
Oh yes, absolutely. So when I was brought into the organization in late 2013, I came in the brand and marketing business. But as I got in, what I started to realize is that we were NCR was they were talking about the brand externally, and my belief is that whatever we were saying about ourselves externally, we have to live internally. So their story, their brand essence that they talk about is every day made easier. So you could quickly say, well, if we're going to say that we make every day easier, then we need people inside that make every day easier. Who are those people? Their promise as an organization is to create the most exceptional experiences for their customers. And they have a very defined way of doing that. And so what we said was, turn that inside. Talk about that exceptional experience for that worker, and who is that worker you're going to build that experience for. And what bubbled up out of the organization was this idea of incredible. And if you think about the word incredible, of the first 4 letters, 3 of those letters are NCR. And so this incredible persona is really the person that they want to have in their organization. So their job as an organization is to build an experience now that's going to appeal to an incredible, this person who wants to be and do the most incredible work that they can, that is going to do it in a way that's in line with who NCR is as a culture, with their values and their vision. And really can bring this idea or their essence to life externally, this everyday made easier. So our employee branding campaign that's come out of the work is this idea of seizing the everyday. That Incredibles are these people that seize the everyday. Everyday moments, the mundane moments, the more important moments, they seize every one of them. They create exceptional experiences for everyone during their days. And that was really powerful, and it's resonating. And now it's a basis for how we recruit. We literally have identified, like, these are the qualities of an Incredible, and we're starting to build our recruiting models. We're thinking about where we're talking about our company as an employer. What are those spaces where Incredibles go every day to get media, to read stories, those types of things. We're thinking about how we onboard them. How do you onboard an Incredible? What are the things that they need in their onboarding experience to be delivered to them? What are you facilitating for them? How now are you growing them and coaching them as Incredibles, helping pull out the best work? So you also now have, obviously influence on leadership development and learning and all of those different areas, that are about growth and coaching. And that's a beautiful story that's coming to life before our very eyes inside NCR every day, more and more. And it is a journey. They recognize that there's growth to that, but they're really using it as sort of their rally cry. And it's a really, I think, powerful employee branding campaign.
one of the things that I love about the NCR story is upon developing this persona and thinking about the incredible, how Kevin and the talent innovation team then kind of partnered to think about all those different aspects of the employee life cycle and the talent life cycle, as Kevin was describing. And with the onboarding program in particular, when our team at Kaiser partnered with Kevin and the folks at NCR to design the new hire orientation experience, that face-to-face experience, that and thinking about the incredible, and then thinking about what NCR has called the guidepost program, and kind of built on the core values and the culture of the organization, and how you kind of teach and educate your new hires, kind of your new part of your organization about those cultures and value, and how that all kind of came to life in the orientation program.
And if you think of the best cultures, and obviously we look at the Tony Hsiehs of the world and the Steve Jobs of the world, and we look at IBM and Facebook and all these amazing cultures, they all have what we call a social identity group. Zapponians at Zappos, you have IBMers, you have Facebookers, at Disney you have cast members. This also promotes belonging, and so that was another core reason behind The Incredible, was to give it this name so that you could belong to something. I am an incredible. It develops purpose and meaning, which is one of the 4 seeds of engagement. It also fosters connection, and it also gives some control as well over to them, because what we're saying internally now is we want you to be your best. We want to help you be incredible. So as now we go into coaching and building you as talent, we want to make sure that we're helping you meet your goals. And we know the new worker wants that, right? The new workers are like, how am I becoming a better person? How am I achieving my personal dreams and goals by, what the role that this employer is playing in my life?
I think that ties into what we had talked about earlier with the difference between the aspirational culture versus the culture that's maybe a little bogged down in some of our historical references, but being able to identify those places that are truly embodying the we are at our best when, and being able to hold them up as an example. And that can even get to some of those performance pieces that we talked about other ways to encourage performance and the recognition associated with that, by being able to potentially hold up certain teams because they're really embodying that value in the right way, and being able to tie it to success or performance that they're having will really resonate with others within the organization too.
And if you think about social change, again, if you look at it from, we look at Tony Hsieh and we look at Steve Jobs, and yes, they managed, tens of thousands, if not 100,000 employees, but these people that come from this place of, of massive social change, where they're changing the hearts and minds of millions of people, there's a lot of learning there. And if you think about the civil rights movement in the United States, and you look at who the activists were and how they had a shared story, and they had a leader like King, but they also had heroes. And, Rosa Parks was one of those heroes, and the movement held her up. They needed, in fact, people that were within the movement talk about how they had other people that they thought they might choose to hold up, but it was very clear that Rosa was the one that they needed to really share that story as one of those heroes who did such a simple thing of all she did was, stay seated on the bus. And so that's the celebration of the heroes and the people in the organization who are living the culture, who are living the story.
Yeah, and I think applying that into the corporate world and best practices that our viewers were interested in is around spotlighting those folks who have had success and being able to lead by example, even if they're not a leader within the organization.